In this week's episode of Working with Time Management, it's all about procrastination. Hello and welcome to this fourth part of my Working with Time Management series. And in this episode, I want to focus in on how to overcome the times when you're not in the mood to get something that needs doing done. Now this happens to all of us, and I've been through it many times. The simplest example I can think of is going out for a run on a wet Sunday afternoon. Now we're just coming to the end of the winter, but over here in Korea the winters can be pretty cold. We're talking about -10 to -15 degrees Celsius, and I can assure you that is cold. If you combine that with wind and rain and everything else that comes about during that time of the year, it can be a pretty unpleasant experience going out running. But I still go on a Sunday afternoon. Now, it's not because the process of going out running 10 kilometers on a Sunday afternoon is the enjoyment, although I do, strangely enough, enjoy that, but it's what I feel after completing that run when I get back home. I get back home, my face is bright red, and I jump into the shower, nice hot shower, and then I sit down with a nice cup of tea. That is one of my favorite feelings after running. It is just a tremendous feeling I have. So on those days when I'm not in the mood to go running, and let's be honest, we all have these days when we're not in the mood, what I tend to do is I start thinking, yes, but if I don't go, how am I going to feel? If I do go, what will I feel? And I start focusing on the end result rather than the process. When you focus on the end result, that's where the motivation is. So again, I've used an exercise example there, but if you use this like an essay, sitting down and writing an essay is not generally a very pleasant experience. But in that situation, if you think, oh, I'm just not in the mood to actually get on and type, then just think about why you are doing it. You know, what's the reason why you have to sit down and write? Well, you need to get this essay completed. If this essay is due on Friday and you spend Sunday afternoon typing away and get your essay completed, how are you going to feel on Sunday night when you've got a completed essay and the only thing you have to do is go through it and just edit it? You're going to feel fantastic, and that's what you're looking for. That should be the motivation. Equally, if that doesn't work, you can always go on the negative route and say, how will you feel if you don't spend a couple of hours typing away? Because trust me, if you don't feel it, on Sunday night you are going to feel pretty guilty and pretty lousy. So think, if you find yourself procrastinating, looking for something, oh, I need to do this, and really I should plan this and I should plan that, but deep down you know you should be typing that essay, stop. Just stop yourself and say, okay, if I don't type 1,000 words in the next hour, how am I going to feel? And that should give you enough motivation to actually get up and start doing it. And it really does work. Now there's another tip that I can do to help you with this, which is the question that you can ask yourself is, if you've got a bit of time pressure and it's kind of being a burden on your shoulders, what you can do is sort of say, okay, what can I do in the next 30 minutes that will take this project towards completion? And that's the question you want to ask, is towards completion. So what can I do in the next 30 minutes that will take this project towards completion? Because this is usually how to get started with a project. Whenever I find myself just not in the mood and I'm capturing myself going through Facebook or checking Twitter or just looking around on various websites, I know I'm procrastinating, and I stop myself and say, okay, which is the most important project I have to do right now? And then I just get on and say, right, what can I do in the next 30 minutes that will take this project closer towards completion? And it's amazing what usually happens, because once you get started on whatever it is you want to do, you'll end up spending an hour, maybe even 2 hours, depends how much energy you have. It is a fantastic way, but you've got to be aware of when you are procrastinating. So there's a couple of things that you can do. Is you've got to look at what is the desired result. How are you going to feel when you've got this project completed? What's your world going to look like when this project's completed? If I take the exercise example, let's say you've gained a few pounds over the last few months and you really want to lose those pounds. How are you going to feel when you lose those pounds? How are you going to be walking around? What's your confidence going to feel like? Because losing weight, I find, always boosts my confidence, and I'm sure you find that yourself. So if you want to do it, then just get right. I'm going to do this because I know how I'm going to feel when this happens. Take the process further forward. What can be the next step that actually takes you a little bit closer towards completing that project? Because it's that 30-minute question. What can I do in the next 30 minutes that will move this project towards completion? That's one of the most powerful things you can ask, because that's usually how to get yourself motivated and to get yourself working. And the final one is to say, how will I feel if I don't do this right now? And that's usually a huge motivator if you're really struggling for motivation to get you doing. But you've got to catch yourself procrastinating. Be aware of what you do when you're procrastinating. And the problem with procrastination is it creeps up on you and you don't often know you're doing it. I'm very aware of what I do when I'm procrastinating, and quite often it's because I'm just not in the mood or I'm not motivated, and I usually find that's because the process is not particularly exciting. So I need to move my thinking to the end result, which is usually the motivation I need. Okay, hopefully you found this useful. I know it's not a lot to do with tools and tricks, but this one really is. It's more about the mind, and it's about mind over matter, as they say. And you really do need to get a grip when you're onto that procrastination, because that is one of the biggest time sucks that people have. Hopefully you found this useful. Thanks very much for watching this episode, and it just remains for me now to wish you all a very, very productive week.